Hello everyone, my name is André Piget. I'm artist and I'm an artist and teacher, and I would in the city of Klipps I prepare about drawing. I will teach you how to draw what you see. My philosophy of teaching is really such that I think everybody is able to learn realistic drawing. The creative drawing is a different story, but this clip is just about the realistic drawing. So before you start drawing, to those of you who just started and you want to learn how to draw realistically well or relatively well, I have some advices, some suggestions, some tips to share with you. And what I would start with is first about how to really keep your medium in your hand. What I'm talking about medium is any medium, marker, counter, or a pencil, whatever it is. My suggestion is, I know that normally in art the position of the medium you keep, how you keep in the hand is basically that way, okay? That way. But my suggestion would be to have better control, especially when you're really fresh in drawing. To have better control of every line you do, ovals, circles, straight lines, transversal lines, whatever, surely and with confidence. I would suggest you rather to keep this, any medium you draw with, like this, and you see the small finger, you always actually is the leading part, is the supporting part. So it's much easier for you, it's going to be much easier for you to do ovals, because this finger is like another sensor which would actually help you, to be in better control until you get to such comfort that you can actually draw ovals or any kind of lines free-handed, and straight lines, vertical lines, whatever is the position of the lines by one gesture, okay? So remember, this finger, it works like this. You just simply, the small finger touches the surface and you just do the forms you want to do it, squarey, whatever it is, okay? So just the first thing is about how to keep the pencil or any medium you want to draw with. And now, drawing is about, especially realistic drawing, how to draw what you see is about the perception which you have to always correct. Our brain perception is really, our brain wants to, as fast as possible, to get rid of any task you give it to it. So basically that's why when you want to do something really realistically well, but you're not able because it comes all kind of deformated shapes, whatever. So you have to be in control of many things at the same time in order to get the right proportions and depict everything as you see. And this is possible only when you get certain preparation for this kind of exploration of realistic drawing. And I will suggest a few exercises which would prepare you for this multitask of activity, where the kinetic movement have to be, aligned with your thoughts, with your brain, with your mind, and this you have to. This exercises I'm going to show you now. I'm going to prepare you to do this many things at the same time. So we will start with the first exercise with the small oval. Okay, so actually circle. Okay, so let's go. I start with small circle. Okay, once you put the medium on the paper, don't stop and don't take it out. Just go now to the bigger oval. Okay, and try to do the circle as much perfect as possible. And then another circle, smaller, okay? And then you repeat the same story with the bigger circle. So you go and you walk like this. Try to be as perfect as possible, okay? Once you get used to it, you can actually speed up a little bit the process and do something like this. So you will be much more, better training in doing the circles, or whatever kind of circles you want to do. One thing you have to remember when you do these exercises always, When you touch the paper, you don't interrupt anything. You continue working. Whatever is the shape, you can do vertically, horizontally, whatever way you want to do it. But one thing you have to look at, that when you do the horizontal line, you have the small circles align, the big circles align, and you have the space between this and this relatively almost the same. So it's not about perfection, it's just about the gesture, to be in control of passing from small to the bigger and from bigger to the small, and again from small to the bigger and from the bigger to the small. And then you retrace as perfectly as you can the same gesture, okay, making circles, you retrace. So basically you can, go ahead, back and forwards and back, with this kind of practice. This is the first exercise. This is the easiest one. Another one would be, you start with the kind of circle lines, curved lines, okay? And then you go smaller, 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 okay? And again, bigger, 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 okay? And again, smaller, 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 smaller. And then you retrace everything as perfectly as you can. Try to really follow the same line as you did the first time, okay? Exactly, try to retrace everything as you did, previously, okay? And this also the same principle, you don't interrupt anything, you try to control. When you do this, you try to control that everything is perfectly horizontally aligned. And if you take these parts, they are relatively the same. This is relatively the same, this is relatively the same level, and this is the same here, And also the spaces should be relatively approximately less or more the same. Not perfect, because it's not about this, but just to be able to maneuver like this. And as you see, don't do straight lines, because that's not the purpose of the exercise. The lines have to be always curved, like you would take part of the circle, and you would go with it, okay? So this is the second exercise. Now, the third exercise is a little bit, different, but it's still the same purpose, to allow you to, work on many things at the same time. And then we will start. So we go with smaller, two bigger, okay? Smaller, two bigger, okay? Smaller, two bigger, okay? And the same story. You try to retrace as perfectly as you can, okay? The same thing, back and forth, And of course, as I said, when you get good in it, you can speed up all these exercises. You can do faster. And now, the same story, you see, when I take horizontal line, so this should be less or more aligned on the same line, and this part should be also aligned less or more on the same line. And the spaces should be less or more the same, okay? So now I have two more to show you, and we'll first do like calligraphic eye. So that's how it would go. Okay, you start with the eye, okay, and you do circle, circle, okay, circle, circle, okay, circle, circle, and again, retrace, okay, the same way, okay, go the same way, to that. One thing you have to look always for, that angles should be less or more the same, okay. Now, when you take horizontal line, the E needs to start from the same line, and the spaces now, this has to be aligned horizontally and this has to be aligned horizontally. So basically, you have to be in control of many things at the same time. And the hardest one, the last one, which I would suggest, there are many exercises like this. I have many of them, but there's just the basic, from very easy ones to a little bit more complicated, to just simply prepare you better for what is waiting for you in drawing human corpse, for example, what we're going to study here. So let's go with the J, calligraphic J. And the calligraphic J, it starts like this, you go like this, you go oval, then you go like this, again oval, okay, again oval. So as you see, you have to be in control of, and the same, retracing, okay, as perfect as you can. And it's the same story, angles, 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 okay. And when you take horizontal line, less or more align, horizontal line here, less or more align, the oval is aligned, everything needs to be aligned horizontally, okay. So that's the exercises. You should prepare yourself before you start, draw anything in a realistic way. Those are the exercises I would suggest to you. These few tips I would suggest you to practice first in order to get used to multitask, gestures, because when you draw something and you want this to depict a relatively realistic way, you really need to look at the proportions, and you have to really have there's many things, as we're going to see in the next videos. I would show you how many things you have to at the same time look at. So the coordination between your mind and the kinetic movement of your hand needs to be practiced first before you get any further. So thank you very much for now.